The unexpected encounter. The sun was just beginning to rise over the dense forest, casting long shadows between the tall, ancient trees. Human moved carefully along the narrow path, his boots crunching softly on the dry leaves. He had come to this part of the forest in search of rare herbs. But something felt different today. The air was heavy, and a strange silence hung between the sounds of distant birds and rustling leaves. As he walked further, he heard a soft groan coming from behind a large bush. At first he thought it was an animal, maybe a deer or some small creature. But the sound was too weak, too pained. Curiosity and concern pulled him toward the source, and he parted the bush gently, his heart beating fast. What he saw made him freeze for a moment, his mind struggling to process the sight. Lying on the forest floor was an alien, its skin pale with faint bluish tones that shimmered slightly under the morning light. Its body was thin and weak, and its limbs were twisted in ways that looked painful. Blood stained the ground beneath it, and its large eyes blinked slowly, filled with confusion and fear. Human felt a wave of fear himself, unsure if this creature was dangerous. But something in its eyes told him it was not. He took a cautious step closer, raising his hands slightly to show he meant no harm. The alien flinched but did not attack, its gaze following every movement, almost as if it was trying to understand him. Without thinking too much, Human reached into his bag and pulled out a small water bottle. He unscrewed the cap slowly and spoke in a calm voice, though he doubted the alien could understand. "Here, drink this, you will feel better," he said softly. The alien tilted its head, studying him carefully, and after a moment, it moved closer, trembling. It took the water slowly, drinking with weak, shaky motions, and Human felt relief wash over him. The act seemed to build a small bridge of trust between them, a silent understanding that he meant no harm. While giving the water, Human noticed strange markings on the alien's body, patterns that glowed faintly as if alive. They seemed to pulse with every breath the alien took, creating a mesmerizing rhythm that Human could not look away from. He wondered what kind of being this was, where it came from, and how it had ended up injured in this forest. His mind raced with questions, but there was no time to ponder now. The alien needed help. He carefully checked for wounds, trying not to touch too roughly, and found several cuts and bruises along its arms and legs. With what little knowledge of first aid he had, he tore a piece of cloth from his shirt and wrapped the bleeding spots gently. The alien winced but stayed still, allowing him to help, and Human felt a strange bond forming. Suddenly the wind shifted and Human felt a chill, a sense that they were being watched. He looked around, but the forest seemed quiet, almost too quiet. Something moved in the corner of his eye, a shadow that darted between the trees. He turned quickly, but nothing appeared, only the soft rustle of leaves and distant bird calls. The alien's eyes widened, and it let out a low, almost musical sound, a warning or perhaps a call. Human froze, unsure if he should respond, but he decided to stay calm, keeping his hands visible. The sound stopped as suddenly as it had started, and the tension in the air lingered, heavy and uncertain. Human knew he could not leave the alien here, not with unknown dangers in the forest. He gently lifted the creature, surprised by how light it was despite its strange form. Carrying it carefully, he searched for a safe spot where it could rest. Sheltered from the sun and any predators, finally, he found a small clearing surrounded by thick bushes and a fallen tree that could serve as a barrier. He placed the alien down, making a small bed of leaves for it to lie on. The alien looked up at him, eyes glistening, and made another soft sound. This one almost like a sigh of relief. Human nodded, feeling a mix of pride and worry, unsure of what the next day would bring. As he stepped back, Human noticed that the forest seemed to hold its breath. Every sound was sharper, every shadow deeper, and the feeling of being watched remained. He glanced at the alien one last time before moving a few steps away to rest himself. Its eyes followed him, filled with a strange understanding. As if it knew he had saved its life, Human sat quietly, wondering who or what might come next, and a sense of suspense filled the air. The forest held secrets, and he realized that helping this injured alien was only the beginning. Little did he know, by the next morning, his simple act of kindness would bring an entire tribe on tigers, with a bride among them ready to change his life forever. A night of unease. The sun had disappeared behind thick clouds, leaving the forest in shades of gray and shadow. Human sat near the alien, who now rested on the soft bed of leaves he had made. The injured creature's breathing was slow but steady, yet a strange tension filled the air. Every rustle, every snap of a twig made him flinch. As if unseen eyes were watching, he tried to calm himself, telling himself it was just his imagination. But the forest felt different at night. Alive and alert, the alien lifted its head slightly, eyes glowing faintly in the dim light, and made a soft sound. Almost like a whisper, Human felt a chill, unsure if it was a warning or a greeting. Shadows danced among the trees as the wind shifted, carrying scents he did not recognize. It smelled sweet like flowers, but also strange, metallic, almost dangerous. Human tightened his grip on the small knife at his belt, ready for anything. He thought about moving the alien to a safer place, but there was nowhere nearby. The forest was too thick and wild. The alien seemed restless, shifting slightly, its hands twitching as if feeling something beyond human senses. He leaned closer, trying to understand, but it pulled back, caution clear in its eyes. For a moment he felt helpless, realizing that this creature might know things he could never imagine. Then came the first sound, a soft snapping of a branch far away. Human froze, listening carefully. Another snap, then a low growl, echoing through the forest like a warning. The alien sat upright suddenly, its ears or fins moving in an unusual way. Scanning the darkness, it let out a short, sharp sound, almost musical, and the growling stopped for a moment. Human had no idea what was happening, but he felt the danger in every heartbeat. Something was approaching, silent, powerful, and possibly deadly. He whispered to the alien, "Stay calm. I will protect you." The creature seemed to understand, leaning slightly against him, its glowing eyes fixed on the shadows. The wind shifted again, and Human felt the hairs on his arm stand up. From the corner of his eye he saw movement, a dark shape, large, moving slowly between the trees. He could barely make it out, but it was not human, not like any animal he had ever seen. The alien tensed, and Human realized it was ready to defend itself, or him if necessary. He swallowed hard, unsure if running would help, but staying seemed equally dangerous. Minutes passed with silence except for soft leaves rustling underfoot. Every moment stretched. The forest itself seemed to be holding its breath. Then came a sudden, almost invisible movement in the trees. A shadow leapt quickly, landing with a soft thud, and another followed. Human jumped to his feet, knife ready, but he could see nothing clearly. The alien's glowing eyes scanned the forest, its hands rising slightly in a protective gesture. Then he noticed small shapes, smaller than the first, creeping between the bushes. They were not attacking, but they were observing, circling, waiting for something to happen. Human took a slow breath, trying to calm his racing mind. He whispered again to the alien, "I think they are just watching." Maybe curious, the alien tilted its head, listening to some sound only it could hear. Its tail or appendage flicked nervously, and Human understood this was not just about them alone. The entire forest seemed alive, watching, waiting for the next move. He stayed still, focusing on his breathing, hoping the creatures or shadows would not see him as a threat. The alien made another soft sound, a hum-like note, and the shadows seemed to pause. For a moment the tension lifted slightly, but the sense of being watched remained heavy and unshakable. Night grew darker, and the stars above were hidden by clouds. Human realized he could not see a clear path out if things went wrong. He glanced at the alien, who now leaned slightly on his shoulder. Tired but alert, it made another soft sound, almost like a question, and he shook his head slowly. He did not know the answers. He only knew he had to protect this creature until morning. Every minute was filled with suspense, every sound amplified in the quiet forest. He knew this night would be long, full of unknown dangers and mysterious watchers. But deep inside, he also felt a strange connection to the alien, a bond formed through trust and fear. Little did he know, this night of unease was preparing him for what would come with the dawn. For the next morning would bring the sight of an entire alien tribe, riding tigers approaching with a bride, and that moment would change his life forever. The morning surprise. The first light of dawn crept over the forest, painting the sky with soft shades of orange and pink. Human stirred, feeling the cool morning air against his face. He glanced at the alien, who now sat upright on the bed of leaves, its glowing eyes scanning the horizon. The forest seemed quieter than last night, yet the tension from the darkness still lingered. He stretched and rose slowly, careful not to startle the creature. As he stepped forward, he noticed fresh tracks in the soft soil, large paw prints unlike any animal he had ever seen. Human's heart raced, unsure whether these belonged to a predator or something else entirely. The alien made a soft, melodic sound, almost like a song, and pointed toward the far edge of the clearing. Human followed its gesture, curiosity mixing with caution. Through the mist, he saw shapes moving in the distance, large and powerful. At first, he thought it might be a herd of animals, but the shapes were upright, and some seemed to sit atop massive creatures. As they drew closer, he could see clearly. Tigers, enormous and muscular, with armored riders sitting proudly on their backs. Human froze, unable to believe his eyes. The riders were members of the alien tribe, their skin shimmering slightly like the injured aliens. They moved with perfect coordination, silent and graceful, yet every step radiated strength. The alien he had saved nudged him gently as if saying, "Do not be afraid." Human swallowed hard, still unsure if this was a friendly visit or a challenge. The tigers and their riders stopped a short distance away, forming a semicircle around him and the alien. Their leader, taller than the others, rode a tiger with golden stripes that glowed faintly in the morning light. He dismounted gracefully, moving toward Human with slow, deliberate steps. The bride was next, carried on a smaller tiger, her eyes wide and curious, her expression unreadable. Human felt his heart pound, a mix of fear and amazement. He realized that his simple act of kindness had brought this entire tribe to him. The leader spoke in a low musical tone, words Human could not understand. Yet the meaning was clear through gestures and expressions: respect, gratitude, and curiosity. The alien he had saved made a soft sound, replying in its own language. Human watched, fascinated as the tribe communicated silently, a language of sounds, gestures, and glimmers of light from their markings. The bride stepped forward cautiously, holding something glowing in her hands. Human could not tell what it was, but he felt its importance. The alien tribe watched his reaction closely, waiting for his response. Human realized he had a choice, though he did not fully understand it. He bowed slightly, showing respect, and extended his hand in friendship. The leader nodded slowly, acknowledging his gesture. The bride's eyes softened and she offered him the glowing object. It pulsed gently, as if alive, filling the air with a quiet hum. Human hesitated, then reached out carefully, taking it in his hands. The alien beside him made a soft sound of approval, and Human felt a strange warmth spread through him. Suddenly, a rustle came from the forest edge, and Human's heart jumped. It was not a threat, but another group of tigers, smaller and more agile. Arriving quietly, the tribe seemed to welcome them, exchanging soft melodic sounds. Human realized that he was witnessing a ritual of greeting, a display of unity and strength. The forest seemed alive with energy, as if it acknowledged the bond forming between Human and the tribe. Every creature, every movement carried meaning, and Human could feel the gravity of the moment. He looked at the bride, holding the glowing object, and sensed that this was the start of something larger than he could imagine. Morning light filled the clearing, glinting on the tribe's markings and the tiger's fur. Human felt awe and wonder, knowing he had been chosen, in a way, to witness this extraordinary event. The alien tribe's respect for him was clear, and their purpose, though mysterious, seemed tied to his act of kindness. The forest around them seemed to hum softly, the wind carrying faint whispers he could not understand. Human knew that what began as a simple morning of helping an injured alien had become the start of a life-changing adventure. The tribe, the tigers, the bride, and the alien all awaited his next move. And in that quiet moment, he understood that his life would never be the same again. The morning had brought surprise, awe, and the first glimpse of the incredible bond between species, a bond that would only grow stronger in the days to come, the tribe's arrival. The sun climbed higher, spilling golden light through the canopy, and the forest seemed to come alive with every movement. Human watched as the alien tribe advanced slowly, each rider on a massive tiger moving with silent precision. The injured alien beside him made soft, approving sounds, nudging him gently as if saying, "They come with respect." Human's heart pounded, a mixture of awe and nervousness. Unsure what to expect next, the tiger's paws pressed into the soil, leaving deep imprints, and the rider's markings shimmered faintly in the morning light. It was a sight he had never imagined. Creatures so powerful, so coordinated, approaching him with purpose. The tribe formed a wide circle around him, the tiger's golden eyes glinting, alert and watchful. At the center, the leader dismounted, stepping down with careful grace. Human noticed the intricate armor and symbols etched into the leader's skin, glowing softly as if alive. He raised a hand slightly, a gesture of peace and acknowledgement. The leader mirrored his gesture, bowing his head in return, a silent message of trust. Behind the leader, the bride stepped down from her tiger, her expression calm but curious. She held her glowing artifact carefully, moving with elegance and caution. Human's eyes widened at the sight, realizing the artifact carried meaning beyond his understanding. The injured alien stepped forward, tilting its head as if to explain. Human could not understand the words, but the gestures were clear: welcome, gratitude, and caution. The tribe's silence was heavy, filled with tension and unspoken communication. Human realized they were assessing him, measuring his intentions. He nodded slowly, showing he meant no harm. The leader studied him carefully, then gave a short, approving sound. A wave of relief washed over Human, realizing he had earned a measure of their trust. The tigers shifted slightly, creating a protective barrier around the group. Each tiger was enormous, muscles rippling under smooth, shiny fur. They moved with grace, yet every step carried the power to crush anything in their path. Human felt small, yet strangely safe among them. The tribe watched him closely, their glowing eyes filled with curiosity and respect. The bride stepped forward, holding the artifact closer, and Human could feel its soft hum against his hands. It pulsed gently, almost like it was alive, and he sensed it connected him to the tribe in some invisible way. Then came a soft chorus of musical sounds, rising and falling like the wind in the trees. The tribe communicated silently through these tones, their meanings flowing without words. Human watched, fascinated, as gestures, sounds, and glowing patterns created a language he could feel rather than understand. The injured alien made a small sound in reply, and the tribe responded with a series of nods and tilts. It was a dance of trust, a ritual of acknowledgement. The bride approached Human slowly, her eyes meeting his, holding a question in her gaze. He hesitated, then extended his hands, signaling acceptance of their gift and their presence. The tribe responded immediately, their tigers shifting slightly, and the leader made a low, approving hum. Human felt a wave of connection, a bond forming not just with the alien he had saved, but with the entire tribe. It was a moment of understanding, fragile yet strong, bridging worlds he had never thought possible. The forest seemed to hold its breath, aware of the unusual alliance forming in its heart. Every creature, every movement, carried significance. Human realized this was more than gratitude. It was recognition, an invitation into a world beyond human understanding. The bride finally handed him the glowing artifact, and as he took it, a warmth spread through his hands. He felt a sense of belonging, of being chosen, and understood that his act of kindness had created a ripple far beyond what he could see. The tribe began to move again, tigers shifting in perfect coordination. Human felt both awe and anticipation. Knowing this was only the beginning, the leader gestured toward the deeper forest, inviting him to follow. Human glanced at the alien he had saved, who nodded reassuringly. Together, they stepped forward, following the tiger-riding tribe into the mysteries of the forest. Sunlight danced through the leaves, illuminating the path ahead. Human knew that the coming hours would test him, challenge him, and show him wonders he could never have imagined. And as they moved deeper, he felt a strange sense of destiny, understanding that his life had changed forever. The silent communication, Human walked cautiously behind the alien tribe, feeling the soft earth beneath his boots and the faint hum of life all around. The tigers moved silently, their padded paws barely making a sound, yet each step carried authority and power. The injured alien beside him made soft, musical notes guiding him through the forest. Human tried to understand, but the language was unlike anything he had ever heard. He watched the tribe communicate with each other using subtle gestures, flicks of their hands and glimmers from their glowing markings. It was beautiful and confusing at the same time, a language of light, motion, and sound. He realized that he did not need words to feel their intent, their trust, and their curiosity. The bride rode beside him now, her tiger moving gracefully. Eyes never leaving human, she made a soft, humming sound and tilted her head slightly. Inviting him to respond, human hesitated, then raised a hand slowly, offering a sign of peace and friendship. The bride smiled faintly, a gesture that seemed to bridge the gap between their worlds. The injured alien nudged him, encouraging him, and human felt a warmth spread in his chest. He understood that this moment was not just about survival, but connection. The tribe was testing him, sensing his heart, his intentions, and his courage. The leader of the tribe stepped forward, making soft, rhythmic sounds. He gestured toward the trees, then toward human, as if asking him to show respect for the forest and its creatures. Human nodded, bowing slightly, and then touched the ground gently. A silent sign of reverence. The tigers shifted, their glowing eyes softening as if approving his gesture. The bride hummed again, holding her glowing artifact higher, and human felt a subtle pulse of energy. It was almost like the artifact was alive, responding to his emotions and thoughts. He could sense the tribe's expectations without hearing a single word. Hours seemed to pass as they moved slowly through the forest, every moment filled with unspoken understanding. Human learned to follow their cues, noticing which way to step, when to pause, and how to move with respect. The injured alien occasionally made a soft chirping sound, giving him guidance and reassurance. He realized that this silent communication was stronger than any language he knew. Every gesture carried meaning, every glance was a message, and every pulse of light from the tribe's markings spoke to him. The bride finally spoke in a soft, melodic tone, her words incomprehensible, yet human felt their warmth and intent. She gestured for him to look at the trees, then the river, as if showing him something he needed to see. Human followed her gaze and noticed small nests of glowing creatures perched high above. The tribe made soft cooing sounds, acknowledging the presence of these forest beings. He understood that the aliens respected all life, even the smallest, and he felt a deep admiration for their ways. The injured alien leaned closer, its eyes bright with approval. Human nodded, trying to match their silent language as best he could. Every movement, every glance, every gesture became a conversation without words. He realized that understanding this language required patience, trust, and an open heart. As the morning faded into afternoon, human felt the bond with the tribe grow stronger. He noticed how the tigers moved in perfect harmony with their riders, almost like one living entity. The bride stepped closer to him, holding the glowing artifact, her eyes filled with curiosity and warmth. Human reached out cautiously, touching the artifact, and felt a gentle hum of energy. It was as if the tribe was sharing a part of themselves, their history and their trust. He looked at the injured alien, who gave him a small nod, and he understood the unspoken message clearly. He belonged here for the first time. Human felt that his actions, his kindness, had opened a door to a world beyond his own. The sun began to set, casting long shadows through the trees. Yet the forest did not feel threatening. Human felt peace and excitement at the same time, knowing that the tribe had accepted him in their own way. The tigers lowered their heads slightly, a gesture of calm and reassurance. The bride made a soft humming sound, and the injured alien responded with a chirp. Human smiled faintly, realizing that communication without words could be more powerful than any spoken language. He looked at the glowing artifact in his hands, feeling the pulse of life, trust, and connection. The forest seemed to embrace them, and human knew that this night would bring new challenges and wonders. But for now he had learned the language of silence, the power of trust, and the bond that could unite two worlds, the unseen threat. The forest was quiet as evening approached, the sunlight fading into soft golden shadows. Human walked carefully beside the injured alien and the bride, his eyes scanning the dense trees. The tigers moved silently, muscles rippling under smooth fur, carrying their riders with unmatched grace. Everything seemed peaceful. But human could not shake a feeling of unease. He noticed the slightest movement between the trees, shadows that did not belong to the tribe. His heart raced, sensing danger before he even saw it. The injured alien stiffened, glowing markings flickering, signaling alert. Then came a sound, soft at first like twigs snapping under heavy feet. Human froze, gripping his small knife tightly. The tribe tensed, tigers lowering their heads, ears flicking, eyes glowing brighter. A group of strange figures emerged from the shadows. Their forms dark and twisted, they moved quickly, silently. Surrounding the edge of the clearing, Human realized they were predators, or perhaps rival aliens observing the tribe. The leader let out a low, warning hum, a sound that seemed to shake the ground slightly. The tigers growled softly, warning the intruders to stay back. The bride held the glowing artifact close, its light pulsing faster as if responding to the threat. Human felt a surge of adrenaline, knowing he had to act. The injured alien made a sharp, musical sound, signaling him to stand firm. The predators advanced cautiously, testing the strength of the tribe. Human stepped forward holding his knife, but unsure how much help he could be. The leader made a series of gestures, commanding the tigers to form a defensive line. Suddenly, one of the predators lunged from the shadows, moving faster than human eyes could follow. The tiger nearest to it twisted its body, knocking the creature aside with a powerful swipe. Human barely had time to react, ducking under the swinging limbs. The tribe responded instantly. A wave of coordinated movements, tigers and riders moving as one. Another predator attacked from above, leaping from a tree, but the bride's tiger intercepted. Claws and teeth flashing, Human felt his heart pounding. Adrenaline surging through his veins, he realized the tribe's power was unmatched. Their tigers and skills perfectly synchronized. The leader approached, gesturing for him to stay close to the alien and the bride. Human nodded, realizing his role was to protect the injured alien, while the tribe defended against the attackers. The forest erupted with action, tigers swiping, predators dodging, and the tribe using strange glowing weapons that pulsed with energy. The bride moved gracefully, her artifact glowing brightly, sending waves of light that disoriented the intruders. Human watched in awe, realizing the tribe's strength and loyalty were extraordinary. Every movement was precise, every action purposeful, a perfect balance of power and strategy. The predators began to retreat, realizing they could not win against the tribe's combined might. Human exhaled, lowering his knife slightly, relief mixing with exhaustion. The tiger's growls softened, their glowing eyes dimming as the intruders disappeared into the forest. The leader made a low, approving hum, signaling that the danger was over for now. The bride approached Human, her eyes softening, and touched his arm lightly, a silent gesture of gratitude. The injured alien chirped happily, marking the end of the threat. Human felt a strange pride, knowing he had survived the test alongside the tribe. The forest seemed to settle, the tension fading into quiet whispers of wind through the trees. Human looked at the glowing artifact in the bride's hands, feeling the energy still pulsing gently. He realized that the threat had shown him the true power and unity of the tribe. Every tiger, every rider, every gesture had worked in perfect harmony. The injured alien nudged him and he nodded, understanding that this was a bond he could never break. The leader gestured toward a clearing ahead, inviting them to follow. Human felt a mix of excitement and caution, knowing that more challenges awaited, but he also knew that with the tribe beside him, he could face whatever came next. As the sun finally disappeared behind the horizon, the forest glowed faintly with the light of the tribe's markings. Human walked with confidence, the injured alien leaning gently on him, the bride beside him and the tigers moving protectively. He understood that his life had changed forever, and that the unseen threats of the forest were only the beginning of a greater adventure. Bonds of gratitude. The night sky stretched above the forest, dotted with stars that twinkled softly through the canopy. Human stood in the center of the clearing, watching as the alien tribe and their tigers relaxed after the day's events. The injured alien sat beside him, its eyes calm and grateful. The bride moved gracefully among the tigers, her glowing artifact held carefully, radiating warmth and light. Human felt a sense of peace he had never known, a quiet bond forming between him and the creatures he had helped. The leader approached, his glowing markings shining brighter in the moonlight. He made a soft, melodic hum and gestured toward Human, an expression of respect clear in every movement. Human bowed slightly, understanding the gesture as a symbol of trust and friendship. The injured alien chirped softly, a sound of approval and happiness. The bride stepped closer, her eyes meeting Human's, holding a message without words. He reached out cautiously, touching her hand gently. Feeling the pulse of the glowing artifact, it hummed softly in response. as if acknowledging the connection he had made with the tribe. The tribe circled around them, creating a protective yet welcoming space. The tigers lowered their heads slightly, their golden eyes warm and calm. Human realized that this moment was not just about gratitude, but about forming lasting bonds. He looked at the leader, then the bride, and finally at the injured alien. Each one radiated trust, respect, and a deep sense of loyalty. Human felt proud, knowing that his simple act of kindness had grown into something extraordinary. The forest seemed to echo with the harmony of their bond, every sound and movement filled with meaning. The leader made a series of gestures, showing Human the path forward. It was a path not just through the forest, but into a world he had never imagined. The tribe was offering him friendship, guidance, and perhaps even a place among them. The bride handed him the glowing artifact, its light warm and steady in his hands. He felt the pulse of life, trust, and connection flowing through him. The injured alien chirped again, nudging him gently as if to say, "You are one of us now." Human nodded, feeling a deep sense of belonging and responsibility. The tigers shifted around them, creating a gentle circle of protection. The tribe's leader gestured for Human to follow them deeper into the forest. Every step he took felt purposeful, every glance from the tribe filled with unspoken understanding. The bride walked beside him, her presence calm and reassuring. The injured alien leaned slightly on his shoulder, a quiet reminder of the life he had saved. Human realized that his courage and compassion had opened doors to a world full of wonder. The forest, the tribe, the tigers, and the glowing artifact were all connected in a delicate, beautiful balance. As they moved, Human could see small lights flickering in the trees, creatures of the forest watching silently. He understood that he was now part of this world, not as a stranger, but as a trusted ally. The tribe communicated through soft hums and gestures, guiding him gently along the path. The bride occasionally looked back at him, a silent reassurance that he was accepted. The injured alien made soft, happy sounds, glowing faintly with satisfaction. Human felt a swell of emotion, knowing that his actions had changed more than just his life. They had created hope, trust, and a bond that could last across species, distance, and time. Finally, the leader stopped at a high clearing overlooking the forest, the moonlight bathing the scene in silver. The tribe gathered, tigers kneeling slightly, riders bowing their heads in respect. The bride stepped forward, placing the glowing artifact gently on a smooth stone, its light brightening the clearing. Human approached and touched the artifact lightly, feeling its energy flow through him. The injured alien chirped joyfully, and the tribe responded with melodic sounds of approval. Human looked at them all and smiled, a feeling of deep gratitude and connection filling his heart. He knew that this day, these creatures, and this forest had forever changed him. The tribe, the bride, the tigers, and the injured alien had become his family. And as the forest whispered softly around them, Human realized that kindness, courage, and trust could truly unite worlds. The stars shone brighter that night, reflecting the bonds formed below. Human, the alien he saved, the bride, and the tribe stood together, a testament to the power of compassion. He understood that this was only the beginning of a new adventure, one that would test him, challenge him, and bring wonders beyond imagination. But for now, he embraced the moment, knowing that his life would never be the same. The forest held its breath, the tigers lay calmly, and the tribe glowed softly under the moonlight. Human felt gratitude, awe, and hope, ready to face whatever the next day would bring. He had saved a life, and in return he had gained a family, a tribe, and a bond that would last forever.